All right, kids, I'm going to do a Q&A here. I haven't done a video in a while. I've had a lot of people ask me when I'm going to do one. Now I'm going to do it. Hopefully answer some of the questions that we get on a regular basis on my Twitter. Of course, I know those questions are still going to come because some of you won't watch the video, and then others of you are sort of like me. You just get a kick out of being a pain in my backside and ask me the same question over and over again, which is what makes all this fun anyway. So, all right, here we go. And I'm going to go through them fast, so I get in as many as I can. My status with the WWE, and then people always ask like, what's your job now? Obviously, I'm still under contract with the WWE. I will never end up going anywhere else. So I won't be wrestling somewhere else, and I won't be showing up on anybody else's television show. I have a contract with the WWE. It's not a Legends contract. It's not a wrestling contract. It's just something special they gave me, and that's one of the ways that I make a living. Obviously, I do appearances, as you see on my Facebook page. I'm a paid endorser. I do a show on the Outdoor Channel called Shawn Michaels River Adventures. So I do have jobs, and I still have a way of providing for my family and I. So that's the answer to that question. What do I think of the WWE talent? All the guys that I know, I think they're wonderful. Get a lot of questions on why I don't watch, or do I watch, and I don't watch, not for any particular reason. I didn't watch much when I was actually working. The reason I did that is because I felt it made me objective. Felt it gave me fresh eyes to see the product. Sometimes you're in that bubble, you're around it too much, you can't be objective. I always felt that the less I watched, the better it made me. And now I've just sort of gotten into the habit of not watching it, plus I've got a whole other household that likes to watch other stuff. I've missed out on tons of other television shows over the years that I'm sort of now having the opportunity to catch up on, and obviously other sports that I like to watch. So there's no deep-seated reason why I don't watch. It's just, I've sort of grown out of the habit of doing that. It's not because I miss it, not because, will it draw me back. I just, I have other interests in other shows that I'd like to watch and that I've actually gotten interested in. Let's see, why don't I keep my stuff? My trophy room question. No reason. Many years ago, before I was married, I had an office that I had pictures and I had a belt or two in there and some action figures in. Haven't had that in over a decade now. Not for any reason, I guess. I've never really, I still got some pictures. Got all my outfits and things like that all boxed up in the attic. I mean, I do still have some of that stuff. It's just not anything that I keep on display here. I mean, our house is like anybody else's house. We've got family vacation photos and family pictures and stuff like that. And I don't know. I guess I never really thought about having that stuff up. Who do I keep in contact with? WWE, obviously. Triple H and I keep in contact. We're texting each other today. Kevin Nash and I keep in contact. Those two guys I keep in contact with on a regular basis. Michael Cole, even though most of you don't like him, he's a great guy, and Cole and I stay in touch. Good old JR and I stay in touch. The new GM, John Laurinaitis, and I stay in touch. Cena and I text each other every now and then on special occasions. Bret Hart and I text each other on special occasions. Edge and I, Jericho and I, not as much obviously as the other guys, but we, Edge, Jericho, and I, we still text each other on special stuff. Anyone that I wish that I could have wrestled that I didn't. Not for me personally. On my wish list, I was fortunate enough to check everybody off. Bear in mind, and I know there are a lot of people, what about Eddie Guerrero and The Rock and some other guys, or Sting, that I hadn't gotten in the ring with. My wish list mostly pertained to guys, that were in the business either before me or around the same time as me. And so I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to be in the ring with most of them. So for me personally, my own private little wish list, that I got fulfilled, and obviously if I had other ones, I wouldn't have retired. My favorite match, that's the one I've never been able to answer. There's many of them. You guys know them all by now. But I've never been able to narrow it down to just one. Do I want to do a movie, or how come I don't do movies? I've had the opportunity to do a couple of WWE films. I've turned them down just because of timing. I was always doing something else at the time. you know, I guess if something were to come along that I really liked and I thought I could do it well, I'd do it. I'm just not one of those guys that has a desire to really go out and look for that kind of stuff. If something comes across that I feel like I can do well, I would do it. But again, not one of those things. I guess I don't give it a lot of thought. You know, I'm sort of an underachiever for the most part. Do I have a Facebook account? Yes. www.theshawnmichaels.com has my YouTube account, has my Facebook, my one and only Facebook account, and my Twitter account. That one comes up all the time. Am I coming back? I don't plan on wrestling again. Obviously, there's an old saying in this business: you never say never. But obviously, I'm still under contract with WWE. If they need me to come back for any kind of personal appearances or appearances, I'm always willing to do that stuff if it works with my schedule. I do another television show, so it's tough to make that stuff work. But I'm always open to coming back, and I'm sure I'll someday come back and maybe do a semi-regular role behind the scenes at some point. But that's all stuff that it's hard for me to say when that's going to happen. I've always had long hair. Yeah, for the most part. Am I going to cut it? Probably not. Did I like being a good guy or a bad guy? When I was younger, being a bad guy was always just so much more fun. Creatively, you get to do a lot more stuff. It gave you more areas to experiment in. Later on, the last few years of my career, could basically get away with anything, especially in the DX mode. So that was always a great deal of fun. Being a good guy is a little harder because you can only work within a certain area, and sometimes creatively that's a little difficult. But as I say, in the later years, when it got to where you can really sort of do anything, it's about freedom. I guess the more freedom you feel like you have as a character, the more fun that it is. Are there any regrets or things that I wish I would do differently or things that I could change? I mean, obviously we all make mistakes. You'd like to not make those mistakes and still enjoy the same success, but that's not how life works. I feel like, my life, my career is like a house of cards. If you take one of them out, the entire thing will crumble. So I've always, sort of been of the belief that if you change something in your life, it might not be where you're at. I'm very happy with where I'm at. So for me personally, even though I made those mistakes and I'm sorry for them, I wouldn't want to change anything for fear I might not be where I'm at today, which is a good place. Do I play video games, and have I ever been HBK on the video games? I don't play them. Not any good at them. There's just too many of the controls, not too many things they can do that I'm not good at. My son has done it, and daughter have done it. They've both been HBK, and I've actually won some matches, which is good. Although most of the time, Daddy gets beat up, and they seem to enjoy that more. Do I watch any of my old matches? I haven't watched any of my matches in years now. I did when I was working. Would always get a DVD, watch the matches after I did them. Saw what I liked, what I didn't like, try to correct those things that I didn't care for, and focus on those things I did like. But I haven't watched in years. I'm not a guy that sits around and lives through the glory years. Whatever reason, I'm pretty good with where I'm at now. So yeah, I haven't watched one of my matches in a couple of years. How much influence on the DVDs, the books, and stuff like that I put in? I sat down and did the interviews, and that's all I did. I never suggested. I suggested one match. All the DVDs that I've done, I asked them to put one match on there. That's the only time I've ever done anything like that. My book, I sat down, interviewed with the guy. He wrote it. I read it over once and said that's fine. I mean, I've never worried about that stuff. One thing I know for a fact, the WWE and the internet sort of are going to establish the legacy of HBK. My real life and my real feelings and stuff like that are sort of irrelevant. Those are things that we keep private anyway, believe it or not. So I didn't put a lot of time and input into my DVDs except for the time I was there for the interview. That's all I've ever done with any of them. Why did I change my ring gear later on? You know what? It got to where I was wearing the shirt so much, and I just was wearing two knee braces near the end. I liked the baggier pants better. It was still a way to keep the chaps incorporated in it, which I always sort of liked. When wanted to get away from the tighter pants anyway. So it was just one of those things you feel like a change, so you go ahead and do it. Attitude Era PG, which one did I like the most? Honestly, it never really mattered. To me, obviously, I know that everybody, a great deal of people like the Attitude Era. It was a lot of fun. But if you think about it in the big scheme of things, it was about maybe a 5-year period at the most. So I've always sort of chuckled at those people that that's not the way it used to be. It was like that way for 5 years for the most part. This business of the WWE has always sort of been more PG than anything else. So for those of you that are that are 20 and younger, there's been a whole lot of PG era on both sides of the Attitude Era, which I know was influential to you and was an awesome time. But if you think hard enough and you're creative enough, you can excel in any era. To be perfectly honest. And then of course the last one is, do I block people? Yes, I do. And one guy asked, why and for what reasons? It's I don't know, language. I mean, if you're mean to me or mean to other people, I'm gonna block you. I'd rather have quality people than a lot of people. I'm thankful for the people that I do have. But I just don't. I want it to be a place that's fun. I got on the social media stuff because I want it to be fun. When it becomes a headache or things of that nature, I'm just gonna it's just better for none of us to have to deal with it. Don't mean to be insensitive in that respect, but I think it's better to be fun and positive than the other. So as long as you're that way, I think you're saying, if you're cruel, if you're mean, if you think you're making jokes and I don't find you funny, you might end up getting blocked. So it's sort of the way it goes. Anyway, I'm going to put this Q&A up. Hopefully this answers some of them. I know some of you are going to ask all these same ones again. That's what makes some of this fun. I'm going to try to work on doing more videos on my YouTube account. I'm going to try to do some blogs for my Facebook account. So make sure you tune into www.theshawnmichaels.com. Those are the only accounts I have. I don't have any other ones. I do absolutely no other social media other than what's contained on the theshawnmichaels.com links. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.